Hi, and welcome back to our kitchen. I took a little break for a while because I had a health issue, but I'm back now right before Christmas, and I wanted to show you this crust that I really like. Last year I did the nut crust, and excuse me, and this year I'm going to do a cereal crust. Okay, first of all, I need to get the cereal down to crumbs. And okay, let me tell you the story. I'm making 2 pies today. So the recipe I'm going to show you is for 2 pies. I'm going to be Sorry about that, my cat knocked over my light. Rambunctious little thing. Anyway, back to my story. I'm making 2 pies today, so the recipe I'll be giving you is actually for 2 pies. The reason is we wanted pumpkin, and all they had at the store was a 2-can pumpkin, the 28 ounce, the big one, which doesn't bother us any because we like to have other little extras on the side that I put in the oven and bake, and then we get a treat before the Thanksgiving or the Christmas meal comes up. And so here I have 4 cups of Chex cereal cinnamon flavored. Now you can use any flavor you want. I just picked a cinnamon because it is Christmas, and I'm going to put that in my food processor. Now we want to make these into crumbs. I'm going to say don't do it until they're fine crumbs. We need a little crunchy left in them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. I'll probably cut out the sound so you don't have to listen to it. And it would help if it was plugged in. Okay, I think I'm ready. Okay, I got the crumbs down to kind of a crunchy texture. Reason is we're going to add some more stuff to it. Now here I have a cup of almond flour, and then here I have a cup of general purpose gluten-free flour. Today I'm using Pillsbury. You can use any of them as long as they're 1-to-1. And here I have half a cup of plant-based butter. Now if you're not dairy-free, go ahead and use regular butter. I don't have anything to say about that because I miss it so much. I need a whole cup for the 2 pie recipe. As I said below, I'll be leaving the recipes for the pie and the crust for one pie. So I'm going to put this on here and I'm going to mix it up. My hands are greasy. Let me get a towel. Now that's plant butter that has been left in the refrigerator and cut into little pieces. I'm going to pulse it. Okay. It's blending in really fine. And what you get is still a crumb. And what I got to do now is I've got to add some water to it. Hang on. There we go. I've got to add some water to it to make it into like a crust that we can handle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to add some water through here as it goes. Actually, I think I'm going to pulse it as we go. I'm going to start with 3 tablespoons of ice water. And pulse it. Of course, that's not enough because this is a double pie. I need 3 more tablespoons of ice water. Like I said, I'm doubling the recipe for the crust and the pie. and I'll tell you about it down below. Okay, now we want a doughy consistency. I know you can't see this up close, but it's staying together when you pinch it. That's what we want. And I'm going to make the pies in a cupcake pan. I thought it would be nice for the children because they would get their own individual pie. That was always exciting to me when I was little. So I'm going to go ahead and get that ready, and I'm going to show you how we do it. Okay, here we have our little cupcake tins, and this is supposed to make about 16 of these, but with it doubled it's going to make a lot more. But we're going to take some of the dough and put it into a regular pie crust or into some small containers. So what I want to start out with, this is going to be for our Christmas dinner. I'm going to take a tablespoon of the dough. You can see how doughy it is. And I'm going to put it in the cupcake pan. And I'm going to flatten it down with my fingers. I've got the oven going at 425. We're going to bake them for 5 minutes once they're done. And I push this down. We don't want it too thick. And I'm seeing that a tablespoon is just about right for these. These will give everybody an individual pumpkin pie for Christmas dinner instead of having a big slice. And they can take it home with them if they want to. And it won't be as much as taking half a pie or something like that home. So I'm going to continue doing this. I'm going to put it in 425 oven and bake it for 5 minutes. And then I'll come back. Okay, we're back. The shells are baked over there on the stove. I got the cupcake forms out of there. 16 of the cupcakes. And then I made some other ones. I'll show you. I'll be back. They were this size. Sorry. This size for the bigger kids. And it just goes to show you can make pies in anything you want. You can make them in coffee cups if you want. There's no rule that says you have to put it in a pie. Anyway, I've got a 29-ounce can of pumpkin. This is 2 pies. And this is not the pumpkin pie mix. This is plain pumpkin. And I'm going to put it in here. Now the original recipe is what I usually follow on the can. And if you don't have Libby's, which has been around forever, you can Google it on the internet and it'll tell you the recipe. The reason I said that is because I found over the years this is the best pumpkin pie that I've found. And the spices are just right. So what I have here is I'm going to change the recipe up a little bit just to make it a little bit healthier. And what I have here for the sweetener is, let me do the eggs first. I've got 4 eggs. I'm going to put those in there. These are room temperature. They don't have to be. I don't know where they came up with that rule. It works, I guess. And then I have 1 cup of, half a cup of maple syrup. This is going to bring the sugar down. And I think maple goes good at Christmas time. And here I have a half a cup of the sugar substitute that they call monk fruit, but you can use any kind of sugar substitute you want. And I'm going to mix this up. First, let me put the seasonings in there. I've got 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ginger, and half a teaspoon of cloves, ground cloves. Now cloves are very strong, so you don't want to go overboard on those. And I also have some vanilla. For some reason I couldn't see it on the recipe on the can. But I'm going to put a teaspoon of vanilla in it anyway, because I think everybody else does too. And I'm going to mix this up. Now, for all you dairy-free people out there, the pie calls for evaporated milk in a can. If you're not dairy-free, you can follow that. I'm going to put a can of coconut milk in there. Now this is 13.5 ounces. The reason I'm using coconut milk is it kind of copies the silkiness of an evaporated milk. You could use almond milk if you didn't have coconut milk, it's just fine. And I don't like to put sugar in recipes, but I'm going to put a pinch in here because they recommend
Salt.
a little bit of salt. So I'm going to mix this up. Make sure it's mixed up really good. I'm going to taste it. That's very good. I like that we cut back on the sweetener a little bit with the maple syrup and the sugar substitute. And because we don't want to overdo sugar nowadays, kids have enough of it. So I've got the oven at 350. I'm going to go ahead and fill my cupcake pans using a measuring cup or whatever you have to scoop it out, and do it about 3/4 of a way full. Remember, it's got the crust on the bottom too. So we're going to come back after I'm done doing that. Okay, now remember, these cupcakes or pies have to cool down all the way. I mean, I'm talking about leaving it in your refrigerator overnight. This is cooled all the way. Get a nice crust on the bottom, and then the filling, and then I'm going to show you what it tastes like in a minute. Now you can pretend that I could find my favorite coconut whipped cream in the tub in my grocery store, but being that we're from a small town, I would probably have to travel quite a way to even find it, so we're going to pretend it's on there. Now for you non-dairy free, the ones that aren't dairy free, you can get one of those cans and spray it on there and go for it. But I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to taste it. The crust is nice and hard. The bottom's crunchy. The pie tastes great. This is another alternative to a gluten-free crust. I hope you enjoy it. As always, be kind to your neighbors. Support your local businesses. And I want to wish you and yours a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. Bye.